Earlier in the show, we heard from Dr. Jill Rubenstein, who you see here, as she trained with her team Too Legit to Drift for this weekend Swim Across the Sound. For decades, the event has provided financial assistance to cancer patients and their families, raising millions of dollars to help those in need and who need it most. Dr. Rubenstein is among the swimmers set to start at Seaside Park in Bridgeport this Saturday. And now she is joining us live, a surgical oncologist at St. Vincent's Medical Center who really does it all. Nice to be with you. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course, this is very inspiring. And earlier, News 8's Ariana Boss really did a wonderful highlight on you and your team. And we heard you talk a little bit about one patient in particular who really inspired you to take part in Swim Across the Sound. Can you share with us a little more of that story?
Sure. I think, to be fair, I had been sort of considering it for several years, but to be honest, there's no bravado here. The idea of being alone in a bathing suit and swim goggles in the middle of the Sound was a little bit outside my comfort zone. But as more and more loved ones started sort of dealing with cancer diagnoses, I was giving it more consideration. And then this young man entered my life. He presented with a fairly rare presentation and quite tragic in that it was an advanced and aggressive cancer. And it quickly became apparent that my expertise weren't going to be able to help here. This was not going to be a disease where he could have surgery. It wasn't going to be helpful. So it was a very difficult diagnosis in time, and he was living thousands of miles from home in another country. And as his disease was progressing, his mother was really desperately trying to get a visa so she could come and see him. And she, with much effort and several weeks of time, was able to secure that visa. However, once she did, it was clear that she couldn't get enough money together to afford airfare to get here. So that's where we called the swim, and they were able to do that for her. They were able to provide money to get a ticket, and she was able to make it up and he was able to spend the last 2 days of his life together with his mother.
And I think
And
that
that was
is
really the last moment that I sort of said, you know, comfort zones don't really matter. I think I can do this.
And you have done it. And I think what is so beautiful and special about this fundraiser is that it helps cancer patients and their families in so many different ways. Obviously, money going towards cancer research, that is critical, that is so important. But name for us, some of the different ways you just talked about helping that man's family come to the United States to be with him in his final days. Really helps families in such different and unique ways.
It really does. That's what really speaks to me about this particular foundation. There's lots of great charities to give to, and what speaks to me here is that it sort of takes kind of the ethos of our cancer center as it is. We treat the whole patient. I can provide surgical services, and I'm one among many services to see a patient as the whole person. But when you have a cancer, it really doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in the context of your entire life, and you still have to pay bills and get your kids to school and get the house clean, and you have to figure out how to pay for gas and how to get a ride to your 29th out of 35 radiation sessions. These are not trivial tasks when you're dealing with the physical and emotional burden of the actual cancer and its treatment. So this is a fund that, unlike others that I've ever heard of, really sees that side of the person's moment in life. I can help them with their diagnosis and with their surgery and leading them through the surgical side. And this fund can sort of help them navigate everything else that's still happening to them as people living their lives while they're dealing with cancer.
Very well said. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing that story with us. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks so much.